guys? Welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over two different emails sent from subscribers. First one's about a guy. He shares his story from many moons ago, if you will, when his girlfriend up and broke up with him, pretty much because she wanted to take a break or needed some space or some nonsense like that. And naturally, you're going to see it wasn't because she needed space, she just wanted somebody else. However, our guy makes mistakes but learns a lot and truly has the last laugh after she's the one that dumped him and cheated. Always a feel-good story. Second story, the main story, is about a guy. He's sharing the story about his former boss, who truly handled things like a boss when he found out his boss handling things like a boss. Truly handled things well when he found out his first wife was cheating on him. And you're going to see that the lesson of play the long game, keep your cool, listen to your lawyer, really plays out and definitely screws over his first wife, who was the big cheater. There'll be a couple good entertaining ones to cover here on a Monday. So kick back and grab your beer. So the first story says, hello SSM. I've been watching your content for about 3 years now, and I've got the story for you from about 28 years ago. I'm 54 years old as of today. Back when I was 27 years old, I was in a relationship with a gal, we will call her Katie. Katie and I were together for about a year and a half when she dropped a bomb on me out of nowhere. Well, that's usually how it goes. Guys think everything's great and all of a sudden just poof, and they're like, what happened? She said she wanted to cool things off with me. In other words, take a break. She said she needed space. Looking back, there were plenty of red flags that I ignored, but blue-pilled me was shocked to hear this. As is most guys, so don't feel too bad. Did I just tell her if that's what you want, fine, and never talk to her again? Nope. I proceeded to do the pick-me dance for about 6 weeks. Smack! Guys, and I know he knows this. Guys, gal breaks up with you. Don't do this whole begging and pleading, crying, carrying on. You may be shocked, it hurt, and blindsided, but you gotta keep cool and just be like, all right, wish you the best, and walk away. Don't do that whole let's be friends thing, try to win her back crap. No. Believe me, she'll be in shock if you be like, okay, walk away. Next thing you know, she'll be calling you up. I said I would send her flowers, called to try and see her. I even broke down crying in front of her when I stopped by her place one day unannounced. Smack! Flowers for dumping you? Here's your reward for dumping me. Thank you. And breaking down in front of her? No. He said I did get some pity sex from her, though, and I eventually found out that her space name was Tom. Of course, when they need space or take a break, they want to go take a break and try somebody else out. But keep you on layaway, in case it doesn't work out with Tom. Tom was a co-worker of hers. Katie worked in a very male-dominated field, and I met Tom before. This was a major blow to my ego, considering Tom was about a 4 in the looks department and younger than me, and I was closer to an 8. Tom did have his shit together though, and was about 6'4" in height. I, on the other hand, was 5'9", and was about a year out of the military and starting to get my civilian life going. Okay, so he's tall, so yeah, they like the tall guys. And, he said you got out of the military, so it sounds like you were in the military, but it looks like you were going to school or something at this point. But he obviously, I guess, was in school or had a trade, was making more money than you at the time. So who should go for? So she went on to marry Tom and had 3 boys with him. About 2 years after we broke up, I met my future wife and had a girl and a boy. Well, there you go. Didn't work out with her. She got rid of you, and then you obviously worked on yourself, and you met a good woman, and you married her, probably a little too quick, and there you go. Fast forward to today, Katie is twice divorced from Tom. Twice divorced from the same guy. Both times were from her cheating on him. After the divorce, the first time, he eventually forgave her, remarried her, only to have her cheat on him again. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Now, obviously, she was cheating on you. Well, you know what? I'm not going to feel bad for Tom, because Tom was the guy that she was obviously cheating with her when you're with him, so fuck him. And he was dumb enough to get involved with a cheater, and then marry her, and then her cheat on him, and then take her back again. Tom's an idiot. I even heard at some point the paternity of their youngest was in question. Shocker. How did I find this out? Well, a few years ago, our sons played high school football together. Small world. Her youngest, my son's teammate, pretty much hates her and wants nothing to do with her. I'm guessing he knows the real reasons his parents divorced. As for me, I've been happily married for almost 22 years. Our anniversary is in a few days. My wife is a very traditional woman. We raised 2 kids who are now in college. Every now and then I look back to that day that Katie told me that she needs space. He says, more so when I ran to her at our kids' football games. And I just thank God that she dumped me. To any guys out there who maybe be hurting because they've been cheated on, dumped by some chick, just remember she's probably doing one of the biggest favors of your life. I wish the type of content was around when I was younger, but better late than never. Also, I've turned my son on to you as well. Keep the videos coming, SSM. Thank you. Well, bro, I'm really glad that it worked out for you. And yeah, guys, a lot in life, gentlemen, especially you younger guys who are just starting out, newsflash, shit happens. You old middle-aged guys like me and the older guys know darn well what I'm talking about. And usually, all the bullshit tends to happen just one after the other. It's like the when it rains, it pours expression. So it really tests you. But a lot of times, depending how you respond and react to situations, these bad situations, good things can come from them. You know, in this situation here, he got dumped by her, broke his heart and all, and he behaved like a lot of guys do, but shouldn't. But regardless, he learned, and then he met the gal who became his wife. And obviously, I'm guessing he learned some things with Katie, and things are good with his wife. So, great. We need more success stories. We need more stories that marriages actually work out, and they raise good kids and have good families. We need more of that now more than ever. It's just that, you know, as long as the marriage laws are what they are, and the more and more women behave as they do nowadays, that's why I say I don't see any incentive at all to get married in today's world. But I'm glad it worked out for you. All right, guys, now on to the main event, the main story here about the guy named Bill. This guy says, hello, SSM. I'd like to share a story told to me by my supervisor in the late 90s. At that time, I was in my early 20s, and my supervisor, Bill, was in his late 40s. He told me how they met all the way up until more recent times, and I never heard anything so unconventional. In my life, most people I know met, dated, and got married. Very few of them lived together first. Bill said he met his wife, and they dated for several years before she lived with him. When he asked her to move in, there were some ground rules. I'm not sure what they were, probably what she was responsible for around the house. And the first time she moved in, it was only a few months. She lived with her parents and probably was not used to having any more responsibilities. She moved out, but they did not break up. Well, I think it's smart that Bill and them were together for a number of years, and then she moved in to test the waters, if you will, and clearly it wasn't working out too well. She still came over like before, and it wasn't long before he could tell that she missed living with him. He told her, I did not make you leave, you left on your own. This is your house too. You can come back anytime you want. Nothing has changed, though the rules still apply. She moved back in, and they lived together for several years. He was ready to marry her when she got pregnant. He told her, I will marry you when our child is at least a year old. That way nobody can say that that's why they got married. Also, if anything ever happened to them, their daughter doesn't have to believe she is the reason they married. The real reason is because they loved each other. Fair enough. So they lived in a small, older house in the city. Bill said she would keep buying things and complain about not having a place to put them. Then stop fucking buying things. We got a kid on the way. It's probably a smart idea to, put away money because babies and children are expensive. It's amazing to me. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. There are guys out there that are just really dumb with money and just spend because they get that high from spending money and everything, and that goes away, and they got to spend that money on more bullshit. But women are much more notorious for spending money on bullshit than guys. So I told her to stop several times. Be patient. I'm working on getting a bigger house. Finally, she got mad and said, if you don't stop... Oh, finally, he got mad and said, if you don't stop buying crap, you'll find yourself living in a trailer out in the country. There'll be no room for much for you and what you have to get rid of, almost everything. She said, you might be, but I'm never living in a trailer. Bill really didn't want to either, and it came out when he was mad. He said, I'm a guy that I will cut my nose off to spite my face. He was saving up money to build a house. He already paid for the lot and wanted to start construction, and I did learn something from him. Bill said if I pay out of pocket to get the house in the dry, then he can get a home mortgage to finish it off. With just having a lot to build on. A lot, as in a location to build on. You can only get his a blunder's loan, and that the interest rate is extremely high. Obviously, this is a different time and place. After the argument, he had to spend a lot in his savings on a trailer and another lot. That slowed down the building process for years. Whatever you do, don't test Bill. She found herself living in a trailer. There you go. She pissed him off. He says, one of the guys in the shop, that was the leading up to Bill's character. We're going to get on to the main reason of the story momentarily. He says, one of the guys in the shop was having problems with his girlfriend. Bill said she's fooling around. He noticed her personality changing over time, just from her stopping by the shop. He said when they stop compromising and start making demands, they have options. Yes, that's very true about women. He was right about her, and she was trouble. Bill then asked me if I ever had to deal with a cheater. I said 4 years ago I married a gal who lied to me about being divorced. Bill then told me about his first marriage. He never mentioned before that this is his second. So the wife with the trailer thing, that's the second marriage. The first marriage, what we're about to get into, is to see how he handles it like a boss. So Bill moved out of his parents' house when he was still a teenager. His dad said, when you walk out that door, you are on your own. Don't waste your time coming back here to ask me for help. So in other words, Bill was probably the teenager who thought he knew everything. And his dad's like, okay, fine. After being on his own for a few years, Bill fell in love and got married and bought a house. He was working 2 jobs just to make ends meet. The second job was a late shift that ended at midnight. One night while working, his friend Mark stopped by and said that we have to go out right now. I need to take you to a bar. At first, Bill thought it was a joke. Mark was serious and said stop wasting time and get in the car. On the way, he told Bill, you have to see this for yourself. I just can't tell you about it. Gee, what could his buddy be at all referring to? I'm sure you guys can place your bets about that. So when they got to the bar, Mark let him in and stopped in the back. A band was playing on the stage, and Bill's wife is sitting there with some girls near the front. Girls' night, huh? Nothing good can come from this. And by the way, gentlemen, this is decades ago, so nothing's changed. So when the band took a break, they came over to the table where Bill's wife was. She got up, let one of the musicians sit down. Then she sat on his lap. Bill lost it, and Mark had to pull him aside outside before he could do anything stupid. Mark said, try to calm down. You start something, and it's 5 on 2. This could also start a bar brawl, and the whole place could erupt. Bill somewhat regained his composure and left with Mark. This was in the early 70s. Bill said there's no telling how long she's been cheating on him. She works during the day, and all she had to do was get home by midnight. If it wasn't for Mark, he would not have suspected a thing. Yeah, there you go. And Bill was young when he married her, which was dumb, inexperienced, and she was easily hid it from him. Lord knows how long that has been going on. So Bill knew that he had to call his dad. This was different circumstances than borrowing money. Bill was from a wealthy family, and his dad took him to see a friend that was a lawyer. Bill told the lawyer, I need to file for divorce right away. My wife is cheating on me. The lawyer said, wait for it, this is a no-fault divorce date. Oh, great. She is still entitled to half of everything, no matter what she has done. What I mentioned in the other story about, as long as the laws are the way they are, amongst many other things, no incentive for guys to get married, right there. She's cheating on him. He saw right there. Doesn't matter. She's still going to get half. It's like the Eddie Murphy stand-up comedy Raw. Half! You all know what I'm talking about? So Bill has to play the long game. They formed a plan, and Bill didn't like it, but the alternative was losing half of what little he had. She had no clue what Bill saw at the bar, and he has the elements of surprise when he talks to her. So when Bill went home, he confronted his wife. He told her about what he's seen at the bar. So when I first read this, I'm like, what happened to the element of surprise? But there's a reason for this. He tells her he told her what he saw at the bar. Then he said, I love you and don't want to lose you. If you stop seeing him, we can work it out and start over. Now, normally I'd be slapping the shit out of any guy that would say something like that, but obviously he has a plan in mind. He's stop honking, truck. Bill has a plan in mind, so he's going to let her think that, oh, this is another dumb, nice guy, and she can get away with what she wants. Since she was caught, she was willing to do anything to save the marriage. Bill sold the house, and they moved into an apartment. He told her that it was to save up for a nicer house. Then he sold their cars and bought beaters for them to drive. So he's liquidating all the assets that she may get a hand in, like getting the house and the cars and all that. Let's keep track of that. That way, they could put all the money in the bank, while also working hard to increase their savings. All the money was going into the savings account. The lawyer gave him the time frame for doing everything. Also, how much to leave in the bank. Bill withdrew most of the money in cash and gave it to his dad to keep. When it was time, she was served. She said, "I thought you forgave me," and then realized what just happened. What did just happen? He made her think everything was okay and get a second chance, and you'll do everything you can to make it up to me, and we're good. Meanwhile, liquidating everything. And oops, took everything out of the bank account, and well, where'd it go? Bill didn't say anything about the lawyers. I'm not sure if they could represent themselves in the proceedings. The judge said, split everything down the middle. She told the judge he got rid of everything we had and did something with our money that was in the bank. Bill told the judge that he lost a lot of money on a bad investment, that he should have researched better before getting ripped off. Now, when I read this, I'm thinking, don't you think the judge would want to see a paper trail or something like that? But he's claiming he lost it all on a bad investment. I'm young and dumb and don't know any better. This is obviously a different time period, too. It was a mistake, and he was just trying to make money faster so they could buy a house. The judge said that's terrible, and I hope you learned your lesson. Because the lesson could have been a lot worse if it happened closer to the divorce proceedings. A few days later, and the amount of money lost would have to be considered assets to be divided. So it sounds like the judge was saying if you had done this sooner, regardless of the situation, the assets would have been divided. I don't know, but regardless, he got this timing from his lawyer. And Bill will be responsible for her half. She was pissed off and told the judge he's got to be lying and hid the money somewhere. The judge told her the finances he can control only go back so far. You're both young and can go your separate ways and easily start over. That old judge probably knew he was lying, but could care less about perjury over something that can no longer be accounted for in the divorce. I guess because this is back in the 70s or something like that. Or no, my mistake. It's back a long time ago, but I'm sure they still have ways to track things. Who the hell knows? Sounds like this judge wasn't too motivated to go after this guy. He probably wished that more guys would do this. He can only hold up the state laws. Bill said it was the hardest thing he's ever done, making her think he still loved her, when he couldn't stand her, but it was worth it in the end. Bill was standing near me when I met my wife. After our first date, he wanted the details about her. He seemed impressed and didn't hear any red flags. He was at our wedding, and we've been married for 23 years now. The end. So there you go, the story of Bill. And that's pretty cool. But what can we learn from Bill's story with his woman, aside from that he rushed to get married to her and all that? Well, when he found she was cheating, thanks to his buddy Mark, he kept his cool, talked to a lawyer, found his options, put a plan in motion, played the long game. And while we can certainly question with the judge and the whole thing there and the bad investment thing, regardless, it worked out for him in this situation. And just his wife was dumb enough to think that, oh my God, he's such a sucker. He's such a nice guy. He's forgiven me and give me a second chance. And okay, let's liquidate the house, the cars, and all these other things. Anyhow, boss move for Bill. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And guys, you got a good story you want to share, definitely email it to me, strongsuccessfulmail@gmail.com. Just give me some time to it, and I'll get to it when I get the chance. It also goes for any good articles you might find, or Reddit stories I could use in the other channels. The more content you send me and make it easy for me, the more I can crank out. So I'm really going to be, lately I've been on the warpath getting things done. So keep them coming, and I'll keep doing the shows. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.